So what is up with Wheat Ridge and should you move there? We're going to go over the pros and cons of Wheat Ridge, whether you want to live there, invest there, or you're just visiting for the weekend. The city of Wheat Ridge is within the Jefferson County area, and it's very easy to get to from the city of Denver. So Wheat Ridge is actually right in between West Colfax and the 70, and it has easy access to go over to the mountains to the west. Which leads us into the first pro for Wheat Ridge. It is the location. The people who live here in Wheat Ridge love the minutes to downtown or Golden, and it has super easy access into the mountains. Wheat Ridge is actually really close to Edgewater and Sloan's Lake just to the south, so you can enjoy yourself out there in the biggest lake in the city of Denver. There's a lot of cool restaurants in that area, and there's a lot of cool bakeries and butchers here in the Wheat Ridge area. Just stick around for that. I'd say the number 2 pro in Wheat Ridge is that it is a very local and tight-knit community, and everyone knows each other by name. Well, maybe not everyone, but it's a very tight-knit community. So there's an event that happens in Wheat Ridge called Ridge Fest, and unfortunately, by the time of this recording comes out, it would have already passed. But there's a lot of cool things that happen at Ridge Fest, and it happens every year. Over at Ridge Fest, they got classic car shows, they got arts and crafts for adults and kids, beer, food trucks, wine, and almost everything in between. And for the families with children, the school district here is really good, especially the Jefferson County school district. It is very exceptional. And with this tight-knit community, it makes you feel like you're in the suburbs without being too far away from the city. Many of the homeowners here have been living here for like decades, so they might appreciate that slower pace of lifestyle without being too far away from the city. And I'd say for pro number 3 for the city of Wheat Ridge, it boasts a good number of parks, trails, and open spaces. Anderson Park, Crown Hill Park, and Clear Creek Trail are some of my favorites, even in the greater Metro Denver area. What's really cool about Crown Hill Park is that, number 1, it's a really big lake, and number 2, there's a lot of trails there for a runner like me. Also on the north side is Kestrel Pond, which is like this wildlife sanctuary for breeding grounds. And before you head over there, you can actually go around that pond and see where a lot of the kestrels are. But before you go over there, you should definitely check out the website, because there might be some closures due to like breeding or just having that sanctuary there for sensitive times, whenever that might be. Also across the street from Crown Hill Park is one of my favorite coffee shops, Queen City Coffee. Definitely get a coffee from there, and also pick up a donut, because Pandemic Donuts serves their donuts over there, and I honestly think that it is my favorite donut here in Denver. And on to pro number 4, my favorite bakery and butcher is here in Wheat Ridge. So for the bakery, definitely go to Get Right's Bakery. What's really cool is that it's a plant shop, and I saw Get Right's grow from a vendor at a farmer's market, and finally they've saved up enough money and have that organic community feel and clientele that they opened up a brick and mortar, which is huge to me. Fantastic pastries, great people, definitely go check them out. The second place I want to introduce you to is my favorite butcher, Edwards Meats. It's right off the 70 freeway, and the number 1 word that I can best describe it as is quality. Every season they have these really cool bundle packs with like brisket, poultry, sausages, chuck roast, whatever it might be, all for your grilling needs. Let's say if you were to go over to the mountains and you plan on just having a whole bunch of family or friends over, definitely stop by Edwards Meats first and then head back on the road. And those bundle packs are really cool if you just don't know what to grill, and everyone in there is very friendly, very nice, and will guide you in the right direction. Now on to the cons list. Con number 1 is that there's not much of a nightlife here. I'd say a lot of these restaurants and bars close by 10, maybe 11 p.m., which is already late for some people, including myself. But I would say that if you're looking for a nightlife scene, go more east or go northeast towards Highlands. That way you can enjoy yourself and have a date night on the town. And there's not much fine dining if you ask me, so restaurants here can be really good, but it's not like you're going out there for more of a romantic evening, in my opinion. And like I mentioned before, a lot of people here have been living here for decades, so maybe some of those houses or maybe the communities just like it as it is and don't want it to be gentrified or just moved in a more modern way, if you know what I mean. And con number 2, if you were planning on investing in this area, which I would definitely look into, there are some short-term rental regulations here. There's a 10% lodging tax, and there's a limit on licenses being issued within Wheat Ridge, so there's a lot of good regulations here which can work to your advantage because it could scare off a lot of investors trying to invest in this area. And if you're interested in hearing more about short-term rentals and the regulations, especially here in the Wheat Ridge area, hit me up. My contact information is down below. I'm an investor and realtor myself. Hit me up, call me, text me if you want to reach me. And I'm pretty familiar with it, mainly because I have clients that own short-term rentals here, and I myself own a short-term rental not too far away from here. So let's talk if you're interested. And con number 3, you might run into traffic if you're heading home on Wheat Ridge if you're going westbound. There's a lot of people that try to head over to the mountains, especially on Fridays, Saturdays, or Sundays, and you can run into that traffic, especially if you live in Wheat Ridge. Especially on Fridays when people are trying to take the day off and go over to the mountains, it could definitely build up and not really die down until maybe 7, 8 p.m., maybe even later than that. And con number 4 is that it's a little bit more expensive than the greater Metro Denver area for the median home price. And of course, it does depend on the condition of the home and where it specifically is located. But the thing is that as you continue further west towards the mountains, it gets more expensive because the mountains are just a huge draw. And it especially is true, especially if you look at, let's say, Golden or Boulder, where those cities are well sought after and they are like right at the base of the mountains. So on average, the median home prices increase as you get over to the mountains. So you got Denver, then Wheat Ridge, then Golden, and then you get into the mountain areas. But outside of that, I think Wheat Ridge is a really cool place to live, especially if you want that suburb feel, but you don't want to be too far away from the city. So honestly, Wheat Ridge is a really strong contender for living and having that neighborhood feel, and I would strongly consider it. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment down below what other city you want to hear about. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next week.